Hey, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
This is brilliant. We have myself, Jacqueline in Canada, and Ilona is in Bali.
Yes, in Bali, Indonesia.
As if people don't know, I mean, I'm sure there are some people in the world that don't know where Indonesia or Bali is, but I think it's on the top 10.
I don't know, in a travel, one of these websites, I think is number one now destination.
Yeah. So, we're talking to Ilona in the number one destination that people want to go to in the world, and we're really going to take you there in the magic of life today.
Magic of life. Yes, there is always magic of life.
And we are actually going to talk about connecting beyond the five senses. So, to me, this is where the real world is and the real life is experienced. And I'm so
That's
looking.
where the magic starts also.
So, how did you start to tap in and tune into beyond the five senses?
Well, to me, it came out of nowhere in a way. I had my awakening in 2014, which actually happened in Bali. And then suddenly I start to connect with myself and start to experience life in really beyond five senses. So I start to have visions. I start to have really, really tangible feelings that were, my mind couldn't really explain.
Mm-hmm.
And and then I remember after that I came back to London, and I had really strong feeling. My intuition was really strong, and my intuition really was guiding me to go and explore more of this, all of the type of spiritual workshops.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to one which was very new for me, and the teacher at that workshop, he was giving a guided meditations to connect with your guides and receive messages. And I remember in the beginning when I came to that workshop, I was like, oh my God, what is he talking about? But I remember there was part of me when he was talking about guides and angels, there was part of me that was feeling home. There was this really feeling of being home. And I was like, wow, this is such a strange feeling. So anyway, I went into that meditation, and what I noticed that each time before I had a question, and actually in the meditation I was receiving always answer, which was like, it made perfect sense. I was like, wow, there's really something in it, like it really works. So that was kind of my first steps of discovering that, we are not alone here, that we have guidance available to us. And and that's really, I see when we start to build the relationship with ourselves that is beyond the five senses. And that's really where we tap even more into our potential and discover ourselves on so much deeper level and through the guidance that we have available to us.
Yeah, and it's like I would describe to my kids as they were growing up that I would use the examples in the world. So to me, like the fact that you and I are connected here in technology, we think that it's the computer or the internet, but these connections just exist. So, the idea that people are texting or messaging back and forth are, for me, the thought vibrations that people have, right? Whenever you are thinking or you're having an intention, you're now just being present because you're texting it, but that was always going out there. And that's why some of us that have had telepathic experiences, or a lot of moms will say that they'll wake up in the middle of the night and they'll feel something is going on with their kid. It's that divine connection that's just natural, that is apparent, and we're just using the world now. The world is sort of mirroring and catching up to what really is true.
That's so true. That is just what is there is whole other world that is invisible to our eyes,
Mm-hmm.
and we are coming from the world when you only believe in what you see, and that's only really the truth. There is no way there is something else, because you have to be able to see it, you have to be able to touch it, and you have to be able to understand with your mind. It has to be logic, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when we lead our life this way, and that's what I learned from my journey, then we're really limiting ourselves. We're really limiting our potential and the true expansion or the really true tapping into our, into our potential. It's when we look beyond that, when we actually connect or we create a relationship with ourselves that goes beyond the five senses. And, even our heart, for most people, heart is there. We say it's important organ, but there is so much wisdom in the heart. I personally like to speak to my heart, and I like to ask my heart questions sometimes, and I really do get answers. I remember actually, just example, like my current partner, actually, I remember he was leading a workshop at the time, and that was before I met him, and I was remember sitting and thinking, which workshop should I choose to? And at that time, there were two workshops at the same time, which I liked. So I wasn't sure which one I should go to, right?
Right.
So I asked my heart, like, okay, so my heart, which workshop would be better for me to go to? Mm-hmm. And I remember I thought about the title from the workshop, which my partner at that time was a teacher running. Right. And my heart got super hot and excited, like literally, like I was like, okay, so it's this one. And that's how I met him, right? Mm-hmm. And so there is so much wisdom that our heart has. And it's just so worth it to tap into it.
Mm-hmm. Well, science is now proving that, right?
Correct.
I was just saying science is now proving that. Like, to me, science only proves what's already in existence, but so many people, again, look to science to say, oh, science validated it. But if the Heart Math Institute is one of those ones that for 25 years now has been studying the heart, and they'll say it's now the super brain. It sends more messages from the heart to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. So this is, when you talk to opening your heart and connecting, to me, it resonates with the magnetism of the entire earth. It is the wisdom, and your head is usually the thing that screws you up.
That's true. Sometimes you don't want to raise logic. Within a time, I realized that it wasn't really the best choice. Mm-hmm. But when I make choices based on my intuition, it always brings me to outcomes that exceed my expectations.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's a process of trusting that guidance.
Yes.
It's a really process. For me, it took me a year or more than a year when I actually realized the potential and the guidance that is available to me to actually trust and know that actually it's for real. And it knows better than me, actually.
Yeah. And to see, that's for me, it's the same. It's like, why do I remember saying to someone, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years ago, saying, I wonder why I even have a head. Because, once upon a time, all I was ever taught in the past, growing up at school was mind, think, it has the brain. But now when you learn to trust your heart, like you say, and follow that inner guidance, it's a completely different world. And I remember once too saying to someone, I had these visitors over from Germany, and we had a great event the night before, and there was another event to go to that evening, and I was so filled with energy. I said, do I have to go to this one, right? And he said to me, he looked eye to eye to me, and he said, you always have free will. Mm-hmm. And in that moment, I just knew there was only one choice in my free will. And that was to go be with all these other heart-centered soul people that evening. And that's really what I find is free will is the ability to choose not to follow my own choices anymore. It's just to follow what my heart says.
Beautiful. That's our mom in our lives. Just through our mind, we're able to speak, we're able to, to make the choices. But also our mind is the bridge to imagination, which is the bridge to the invisible world, to the, that goes beyond the five senses, the connections. So our brain, it's very important also. In fact, everything what we have, it's very important. It is there for a reason. And when we learn to work with all of these parts of us in alignment, then, it's everything is just like this and easy. But that's, just like this. But we know that it takes time.
Well, I mean, everybody will be doing this. We'll go magic.
It is a true magic. It is definitely true magic. And even our world really speaks to us. The other way I like to communicate with my guidance, it's I just ask them, show me if it's the choice I'm going to make, if it's the right one. And richly, it shows me through, I don't know, through email or through a signs I see on the street or through something. It's always, the answers always come. The thing is, we need to ask. We need to get the habit of asking. And the answers always come. And just acknowledge that we're not alone. There is whole support for us available, and everyone beyond the five senses, the whole energy there is absolutely happy to help us and to guide us. It's just up to us to take that step and to take that action towards it.
And you actually ask directly to the Akashic records. Is that correct? When some people come to you, your clients, you use the Akashic records to ask and get guidance from?
I do, yes. I do spirit guides reading, which I go to a client Akashic records and I get the information. And I also do readings based on the soul purpose or soul gifts. So it's a soul profile reading where I give the detailed information about my client's soul, what their gifts, what their talents. So I give them really great clarity if they don't really know directions, which way to go. And so Akashic Record is great. And soon I'm going to do future readings, which is a very exciting thing. And it's very different than the standard future reading, but that's something that is coming in the near future. So stay tuned.
Well, for those that have never even heard of what the heck is the Akashic Records, I would say it's the big library in the sky, but how would you describe it?
Yes, the library, it's a great example. I would also say that, Akashic Records, it's the choices, the action, the intention, the deed that your soul has ever made from the moment of leaving Creator to the moment of coming back. So basically, I would say even that your personality, your likes, your dislikes, your fears, your hobbies, everything what creates your personality, it's based on Akashic Records, what is inside your Akashic Records. It's based on the choices that your soul has made through lifetimes.
So now so if somebody was to come see you, you can do this physically in person or halfway around the world, right?
No. I do my sessions through Skype because I travel a lot. So all my sessions I do with the clients, it's all online.
All online, perfect. So now, when you do that, do you just simply say, excuse me, I've got to go talk to them because you're so connected? Or do you have to get into sort of like a meditative state, like Bridget Murphy, who's a shamanic healer, and she goes to ask the spirit guides, so how is it that it works for you?
I do the readings for my clients before I meet with the client. So that when I have a session with client, the reading is all prepared. Everyone actually can access Akashic Records, and it's actually very easy to access Akashic Records. It's really, you go there by intention. That's how easy it is. For our mind, sometimes, for us just to okay, we're really there, just to kind of convince our mind that we're there, sometimes it's easier to do a little meditation to get there, but it's not really necessary. Then yes, when I do readings, I need a quiet space. where I'm not disturbed, because when you go to like Akashic records, fifth dimension, it's very sensitive. And you really, that's actually, when I started to do Akashic record readings, that's when I learned how our intentions and what we believe we're creating in our reality. Because up there, every kind of, in the beginning when I was learning to read Akashic records, if I was feeling, I don't know, not really in the mood, or if I was tired, or if I had the perception, because obviously in the beginning I was practicing with my friends, so when I had the perception of my friend that is this and this and that, it was actually reflecting in my reading. It really was reflecting in my reading. So I had to learn to be really in a neutral space.
Mm-hmm.
Only then I'm able to do a proper reading. Because if I have a belief or perception of something, it really comes up in the reading straight away. So, but that's really what happens in our reality, right? We have beliefs, we have perceptions, and
Mm-hmm.
through that create our reality. So that was a great, great lesson to me to kind of see like, wow, it's really that how it is, that simple, that we do that.
So what would you suggest to the person that has had these feelings that there's something else going on, right? They may have learned about serendipity, they may have thought about, the power of coincidences, but yet they're still uncertain if they can trust it, because really that's the journey for you and for I and for all of us that get convinced to trust it. What do you feel is the first step or the path you would guide them down?
I would say let go of the fear, because you're really safe. You're really safe, and really the underlying feeling why we afraid to trust is really because we're afraid something's gonna happen to us, because we're afraid of the unknown. But you're really safe, and by trusting, you're even more safe than if you just fight against it.
So, and probably like you were just talking about perceptions and how sensitive energy is, if you're even remotely thinking about fighting against it, you're actually bringing that back into your experience then.
Well, it creates conflict, because we basically making choices against of our desires, and that creates inner conflict. And obviously, with every conflict, there is this more tense energy associated with. And only when we surrender to it and let go, then we kind of let go of that conflict, and we let the guidance come, and just we allow ourselves to go with the flow.
Do you have a favorite personal experience that you encountered when you realized maybe you were still wanting to trust your five senses and you found some struggle, and that's when you just surrendered and went with the flow, and that was the beginning really of truly the magic of life?
Yeah, there are many stories. Let me see. For me, it was really lots of. Okay, I tell you this one. It's personal, but yeah, why not? So when I met my current partner, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, that was like 1 year after my awakening. So I'm still was kind of into like, what the heck is happening to me?
Right.
And then when I went to this workshop for the first time, where my partner was facilitating, I had these loud voices in my head. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, this is your future boyfriend. And I'm like, what the heck is that? And then after that, I had visions, and really my heart was jumping. But my personality, my really, 3D human personality, was totally not really into that. So I was like, what is this? And it took me time to actually trust that it's happening for real, that I'm not going crazy. And yeah, now it's true. I mean, it was a journey for me, because the first time when I went to his workshop to actually when we started to be together, it was 1 year. So for this 1 year, it was for me really journey of learning to trust that what I'm receiving is actually truth, and it happened. And so yeah, so that, I think that was the biggest lesson for me, because it was a really journey for me to actually trust that this is really going to happen.
Yeah, so I guess you had some old baggage in a sense from previous relationships too. So it wasn't just trusting beyond the senses, it was also trusting again to open your heart, that everything you were feeling, you were being guided to, and I think that's beautiful that you were willing to share that with us, because I believe times that what we feel is maybe an event that has caused us a lot of hurt or pain, as we describe it, is really that moment that allows us to be birthed into a very new, compassionate, empathetic spirit that is able to contribute to other people's lives by transcending that experience. So,
Well, it's very true what you're saying, because within that year of me kind of, trusting that whatever is happening, it's real, there is lots of, I had to let go of my past also. And so it was a journey, not trusting, but also letting go, and letting go of my old beliefs. You're very right, yes.
yeah. And I think that's important for people to know, that it's not just or at least my experience is when I started to realize that there is a whole other world beyond what I was raised to believe,
Yes.
is that it is that step forward, that you're going on this journey, but as you're doing it, you're becoming lighter and more vibrant. So it's like you're shedding these baggage, patterns, habits, generational stuff. And yeah, in the process, some of it's physical release, some of it's emotional release, but it's really just a letting go. Like, the wave comes in bringing you gifts and blessings and abundance, and the wave goes out and reveals some things that need to be
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree 100%. It is
yeah.
exactly, especially when it's really happening to you, like I would say, like out of nowhere, when, like, especially to me. I mean, with some people I talk with, for them it happened like gradually, through many years, little signs and something. For me, it really happened from one day to another. When before was nothing, like you really, my very human 3D life. And then from another day, everything started changing and shifting in my world. So for me, yes, there were moments I was thinking I'm going crazy. But then that's why it took me also a little bit longer, I guess, to kind of trust that, I'm okay, I'm safe. There's nothing wrong happening with me. There is actually a magic happening.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's that wow factor. I know my youngest, who's now just shy of 18, she would always talk about unicorns.
I love
And
it.
yeah, and I always encourage the conversation, right? Like if she wanted to talk that she saw a unicorn, I was like all for it. And we actually had them in the Waldorf school for a little bit, where they when we go out in the forest, they'd say, "Hey, did you see the gnomes and the fairies?" And they lived in this magical concept. And to this day, I feel that that's part of keeping that door open, that they were able to keep that realm, keep that other sense beyond the five senses present. So it was, well, they just don't see the world the same way. Like sometimes I would describe things to them and go, well, this is the way most people think in the world. And they're like, we don't get how most people think that way in the world. We just don't get it. So why do you even tell us that? So when we're talking now, you and I, about opening up beyond the five senses, this is a gift for so many people, because they have yet to really embrace this conversation. So would you like to share a meditation or a prayer or some sort of heart-to-heart connection with everybody?
Yes, we can do a meditation when we connect with guides, or beings of light that are here to help us and guide us on our path. I'm not sure how much time we have because it might be about 20 minutes. Is that okay?
If it's 20 minutes to bring divine light into the world, I'm all for it because I live for the magic of life.
Fantastic. So let's do it then.
Okay.
Okay. So let's just move a little bit just to bring us ourselves even more to the present moment, to our body.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Now close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in, feel your body relaxing. Deep breath in. And as you exhale, feel your body releasing all the tension, all the worry, all your thoughts. Breathe in, relaxing your body. Breathe out, releasing all the tension, all your thoughts. Breathe in, feel your toes relaxing. Feel your legs relaxing. Feel your belly relaxing. Your chest, your neck, your hands, your head, and your mind is relaxing. The space around you is filled with beautiful white light. Breathe in, gently and softly, the beautiful white light into your heart chakra. And with each breath in, imagine the light expanding within your body. Breathe in, you see this beautiful ball of light expanding in your chest area. Covering all your body now. Expanding beyond your body until you see yourself sitting in a beautiful ball of light. Notice the beautiful white staircase in front of you. As you walk up the stairs, you will be counting the steps. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, step 7, 8, step 9, step 10, step 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Notice a door, and as you walk through that door, feel the beautiful energy of the room. With two beautiful beings standing in front of you. To send them gratitude for their visit. And ask being of light number 1 to step in front of you. And as he steps in front of you, try to feel his energy. How does it feel like? Try to sense, or perhaps you see image. You can say thank you to him now and ask him to step back. And ask your guide number 2 to step forward now. And see if you can sense his energy. What the feelings you're receiving from him. Can you sense the difference between your guide number 1 and guide number 2? If you don't feel much, you can ask your guides to strengthen the connection between you and them. You can ask your guide number 2 to step back. And I give you a minute, as this space is for you. You can ask any question and see if you can get the answer. You might come in a thought form, you might come in a feeling form, or might come in an image. Whichever way it comes, it's perfect. Just surrender to the feelings and whatever you're experiencing. You can ask your guides to send you whatever it will be the most beneficial for you right now in this moment. Now notice that one of your guides is holding a little beautiful box and is giving it to you. It's got a gift. Open that box. And inside that box, there is beautiful, white light shining heart. Take that heart in your hands and connect with the energy of that heart. Feel the light that is within that heart. And put that heart inside your heart. And imagine the light from that heart spreading through all your body, through all your cells, through your blood cells. And bring awareness to your heart. Hear your heartbeat. Connect with it. Feel the light that is within you. Look into the white light, beautiful white light in your heart. Feel the energy of it. Say thank you to your heart for guiding you. Bring the awareness now back to your guides and send huge, huge gratitude to them for supporting you on your journey. Send huge gratitude to yourself for supporting yourself on your journey. Now see yourself walking out of the room, and then you will start to come the stairs down. Step 15, step 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring yourself back to the room and into your body. Move your body a little bit to come back, to ground yourself. You're not.
Start dancing now.
It's always good energy, right? When you come back.
Oh,
Thank you very much.
thank you. And we will be back again with more magic of life.
Yes, we will be back, definitely.
Mwah. Thank you so much for joining us, Ilona, and sharing with us. This is beautiful.
Thank you very much for having me. Pleasure, absolute pleasure.
Mwah. My heart to yours.
My heart to your heart. Always.
Okay. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.